As the West Asia war has dragged on, is Benjamin Netanyahu increasingly getting frustrated? Because Tehran has made it clear that the war will end on its own terms. Even the Israeli Prime Minister is realizing that regime change may remain a pipe dream. Holding his first press conference since the beginning of this war, Netanyahu conceded that he was not certain about Iranian people bringing down the Masoud Pezeshkian-led government in Iran. Venting out his frustration on the locals, he said, and I quote him, "You can lead someone to water, but you cannot force him to drink," unquote. Donald Trump has echoed a similar sentiment as well, saying that people are unlikely to topple the government anytime soon.
I added another objective, which is to create the conditions for the Iranian people to truly remove from themselves this terrible tyranny regime. Creating the conditions does not guarantee that it will happen, and I told them now the things I said a short moment ago. I said, it's up to you, it depends on you. You can lead someone to the trough, but you cannot force him to drink.
Netanyahu's concern comes as thousands of Iranians have been taking to the streets for the annual Quds Day all through the day today, even as Israel and America continue to bombard sites across the country. People held posters of Iran's new leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, and even burned the flags of America and Israel. Top Iranian leaders, including President Masoud Pezeshkian, the Judiciary Chief Gholam Hossein Mohseni Ejei, and the Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, joined the march in Tehran. Now, is Benjamin Netanyahu also looking for a face saver to eventually end this war? Touting the achievements of the Israeli military, he claimed that this was a different Iran, which no longer poses a threat like it did before. At the same time, he's issued a veiled threat to kill Iran's new leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei.
I wouldn't issue life insurance policies on any of the leaders of the terrorist organizations. This is their patron of terrorism, and I don't intend to provide an exact report here about what we are planning or what we are going to do.
Earlier this week, remember, thousands of mourners had gathered in Tehran for the funeral procession of the IRGC commanders killed in America and Israeli strikes. In a clear sign of solidarity with the present government, they also chanted anti-America slogans. Netanyahu's climb down comes at a time when nearly 60 people in northern Israel have been wounded from shrapnel and glass shards after Iran launched a barrage of missiles. Some houses were damaged as a result of this attack. On the other hand, Israel's Air Force claimed to have struck over 200 targets in western and central Iran, including ballistic missile launchers and defense systems on Thursday this week. Earlier in the day, it commenced a new wave of strikes on Iran. The United States and Israel are considering high-risk operations in Iran, and one element could be crucial to the mission's success. Scientists from the International Atomic Energy Agency. The sources say that any plan to secure Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium would likely involve special operators working alongside the IAEA experts and ensuring that the material is handled safely and accurately. The uranium, 450 kilograms of 60% enriched fuel, can be converted into weapons-grade material in just 2 weeks, making it a central target in Donald Trump's stated objective to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. And any such operation would be highly complex, likely taking place after U.S. and Israel forces are confident that Iran can no longer mount a serious defense. Reports suggest that it could be American, Israeli, or joint and would involve navigating heavily fortified underground facilities. As per reports, American officials have discussed two options: removing the material completely or bringing in nuclear experts to dilute it on site. Now, the presence of the IAEA scientists would be crucial, both to ensure safety and to provide international legitimacy to any action. NBC News reported that Trump has discussed deploying a small contingent of U.S. troops for strategic purposes, with semaphore reported options including special operations raids on nuclear sites. Remember, the opening strikes in the war targeted nuclear facilities in Isfahan, Fordo and Natanz. It buried much of the uranium under rubble. Centrifuges were destroyed and there is no evidence of enrichment that has been resuming. If the entire stockpile reached 90% purity, it would be enough for at least 11 nuclear bombs. Reports emphasize that the planned boots on the ground is not a large invasion, but small. It will be highly targeted, special operations, raids, with the IAEA playing a crucial role in the securing of the material. In short, any American-Israeli mission to secure Iran's uranium could be a complex blend of military precision and scientific oversight, a delicate balance of force and expertise designed to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. War not just redraws battle lines, it also redraws the balance sheets. And right now, one country is quietly benefiting from all of this chaos, and that's Russia. As the war in West Asia shakes global energy markets, Russia is watching oil prices climb, and conversely, its revenues surge. New data by a Finland-based think tank shows that in just 2 weeks since the war began on the 28th of February, Russia has earned roughly $6.5 billion by selling fossil fuels to global buyers. As global prices for oil, gas and coal jumped by about 14% as compared to February, this price rise also pushed up Russia's export earnings in March this year. Data shows Russia earned around $730 million extra from oil, gas and coal sales in March, of which most of that earnings came from oil. Researchers estimate that nearly $680 million of the extra income flowed directly from crude oil trade. The figures come from an energy research group, the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air. The timing is significant. The data surfaced just as U.S. President Donald Trump said that the United States could soften sanctions on Russian oil to stabilize global prices. In fact, Washington has already issued a temporary exemption allowing Russian oil shipments that are currently at sea to reach international buyers. The measure will remain in place until the 11th of April. Now, as officials attempt to allay a market rattled by war-driven shortages, with crude oil prices hovering near $100 per barrel, Russia, by the way, remember, is the third largest oil producer in the world, accounting for about 11% of the world's crude oil supplies. As per the International Energy Agency, this war has slashed Gulf energy production by at least 10 million barrels per day, creating what it calls the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. For Russia, that disruption means opportunity. Energy exports remain a crucial pillar of Moscow's budget. As per the think tank, weeks before the West Asia war started, Russia's oil revenues had been slipping to their lowest levels since the Russia-Ukraine war began back in 2022. And now a new war, thousands of kilometers away, is not just helping Moscow refill its coffers, but making it a huge beneficiary.